I'm Sham.
Truth City.
Mont.
Rio.
We're the Soundkillers.
You're now listening to Encore Radio.
The views and comments expressed on the following radio program by its hosts and their guests do not necessarily reflect the views of...
Before I had the deal, I was out here with the we been counting money on them niggas. See, before I had them bitches, I was out here with the we been counting money on them niggas. See, before I had the digits, I was out here with the we been counting money on them. See, before I had the deal, I was out here with the we been counting money on them. We some rich young niggas out the project. Still counting money on them. Screaming fuck them other niggas in the process. Right? Still counting money on them. We some rich young niggas out the project. Still counting money on them. We some rich young niggas out the project. Still counting money on them. I was counting money right in front of the corner store. They was talking.
All right, good morning, folks. It's the Encore Radio Show here, live here, matter of fact, with Wise. We got I.S. Jones in the building. And we have the Soundkillers in the building.
Yeah.
What up?
Listen, man, honestly, very happy to have you guys in the building. We're really, this is our first dive into hip hop outside of, artists. We obviously talked to a lot of artists. We've talked to producers before,
all the time,
but never a collective. Especially people, young black men, black excellence, who decided, hey, we're going to work together to build something for people. So talk to us a little bit about Soundkillers. We are obviously extremely happy to have you here. So who wants to go first?
Soundkillers is something that me and Steph, who's not here right now, but he and I started it actually about almost 10 years ago now.
Wow. That's pretty big.
Yeah, it started out as something else. It was more of like I was leasing beats, and I was trying to like put something else under a different name.
Okay.
And I had one of my old managers who used to be a DJ was doing a lot of reggae music, and he was always saying, sound clashes and sound killers, and I always loved that name, so I was just like, I'm gonna use that for something. And then it started the leasing thing didn't happen, but I really loved the name, so I was like, let's just keep the name and let's just like rock with it, and he knew Sham for a while, so he he ended up talking to Sham, and Sham was down, and then we just started like different people that we really feel fit the vibe of what we're trying to do. Like we're not like all about money and all these different things. We're trying to do like mostly like art-based, like trying to make sure everybody's like at the top of their game creatively. We push each other almost like a fraternity, like X-Men in a way. Everybody's
the X-Men of hip-hop.
Everybody's got powers, everybody's got special powers, and they do different things. So Sham, is like he said, an instrumentalist. He'll play the drums, he'll play keys or whatever. So if I need that on something, I'll reach out to him, or if he needs something visual for his album cover, like I'll do that because I do that. So yeah, so it's kind of like cool that we all get to use each other's gifts, in that way.
That's what's up. So 10 years in the game for you, right?
10 years, a
10
decade
years.
of this.
How did everyone find themselves to you, in a sense, basically?
Well, yeah, like Rio was saying earlier, my manager is real cool with Steph. And, I get some emails, and I'm like, yo, who's this Rio guy? So it's like...
That's how it always starts.
And so, that's how it starts because, it's you got to show love, you know what I'm saying? If you can't show love to somebody, then your crap is never going to come up.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I remember...
Bro, yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. And I remember he hates this story, but he had this thing with iStandard. And I was like, he was like, Rio's doing the iStandard. And I never went to iStandard before, and I went. And Rio killed it. He won first place, and it was like a whole big thing. And then
I got second place.
You won second place?
I got second place.
I feel like I guess you won. But for the sake of the radio show, he won. I went back home, and I'm like, the core producers that I was around, I was better than them. And I'm like, I got to get to the point where I'm around people that drive what I do. Absolutely. And that's why I feel like definitely. The Soundkillers was a place for me because it was like, what? I could be surrounded around people that's better, if not as good as I am. And, for me, I don't really like to be in front of everything because I just know what team does. Yeah. So that was how I got involved. And then, Steph, I got out of my old situation, and Steph was like, hey, man, But right here, and I was like, what, with Rio and them? Forget about it. Like, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah,
So,
it's funny because I remember hearing Steph play me some of Sham stuff, and this is before we kind of like said that Soundkillers was like a group thing. So I was like, it was like almost like, yo, why you over there messing with him, dog? Like, you know, I knew he had hot joints, so I was like, yo, I was like, this kid's crazy, and I was a little jealous. I'm not gonna lie, but once I started to get that thing where I was like, you know what? He's dope, and we could actually do stuff together, and we could probably like build together. He could show me things, I could show him things. So then I opened up, but I was definitely like the only child, kind of like that thing.
Completely understand. Okay, so Truth said.
So I was hitting the pavement like really hard after I had dropped my album, where I was in the process of working on it. So for the third time, I auditioned for the Dean's List tour, right?
Oh,
So
I made the final round of Dean's List.
Right, so she knows what I'm talking about.
This time?
Yeah, this time around.
So she knows what I'm talking about. So I auditioned, and like it's always like a humbling experience, and it's always a growing experience. So
Yeah,
this time around, I was like, I'm ready, like I'm hungry. You know what I mean? I'm about to kill it. You know what I mean? So I go in, and then Mont was one of the judges. So I go in, I'm hungry. And, you know, I'm watching everybody spit. I'm just, like, in the chair rocking, you know, waiting for my turn, you know. And then, like, I go up and I give it everything I got. And I get perfect scores. I get perfect feedback and, you know, all of these things and business cards. And I'm thinking, like, nailed it, you know. And then I didn't get it, but Mont ran out the room and he was just like, bro, I don't understand, I mean, what's going on right now, but take my card. And he was like, I'm going to holler at you. So from a distance, you know, he watched me. And I continued to grow. Like, I'm always the type of person where I'll never stop working. So I was like, no matter who gives me opportunity, I'm going to make my own tour. You know what I mean? So I just put out my album. I did open mics. I did shows. I put together my own concerts. And then Mont was like, yo, I like this kid. He reached out to me. We sat down and talked. And they was just like, yo, I want you to be part of this fraternity. Come meet Rio. Come meet Sham. Like, these guys are going to push you and make you better. And when I sat in the room and listened to Rio, normally I rap and it's like, yo, you're dope. And Rio's like, yeah, that was nice. And then, you know, Sham is like, yeah, he's dope. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know, like, I wasn't used to it. I was like, yo, I thought I killed it. But it's just like, they saw it and then they'll hit me with the text and like, yo, we like you, we gonna do something with you. And then from there, it was just like pushing forward, man.
Excellent.
What does it feel like to be backed by such a powerful fraternity?
You know what it is? It's humbling because I've always searched for a way to break a ceiling. You know, I'm never the best. I'm never good. There's somebody always out there sharpening that pen. You know what I mean? So like, what can I do? Who can I ask? What questions can I ask? They'll help me ask the right questions. I mean, like, these are people who have been in the game, like they said, 10 plus, and they always know a little bit more than I do, and they're always constantly learning. So for somebody to be 10 steps ahead of you and still climbing, but throwing you those extra steps so you don't have to, you know what I mean, like, you know, do all of the extra, like, it's a wonderful experience, man, and I'm growing musically, and I'm getting hungrier, you know what I mean?
That's what's up. So, Mont.
Yo.
I ran into Mont, matter of fact, at the Dean's List tour as well. We were both judging.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And, you know, just listening to things that he was saying, some of the feedback he was giving to the artists, it was certainly inspiring. It reminded me so much of things that I was saying in my head I just didn't want to say or wasn't comfortable saying. Mont was just like, yeah, this, or nah, I'm not really about that. So, so Mont, you know, talk to me, how did you make it here? And, you know, how important do you feel you are to this fraternity?
You know, oddly enough, so dating back about 2 years ago, I've known Sham for a really long time.
Yeah.
And we've just always connected by way of music. So Sham, when he connected with the Soundkillers, you know, he just kind of introduced me to this new brand and some folks he was working with. And I was just like, yo, this stuff is amazing. I remember going to the website, kind of listening to some of the music that was being generated by the producers. And I was just like, these guys are crazy. And again, you know, and a really good thing to know about me is just like, as a music lover, your love for the quality of music is really like paramount. You know what I mean? So you know, like we get a lot of disposable music, especially with the internet now. So it kind of comes in and goes out, and that's just the nature of the industry these days. But anyway, so 2 years ago, Sham introduced me to Steph. Shout out to Steph. And Steph, you know, Steph and I talked and we connected, and there was such incredible synergy there. And Sham knows that it's always been a dream of mine to really work with artists and producers and people who have a same level of like a same degree of quality or commitment to quality. So, you know, here I am almost 2 years later. Most wonderful experience ever, because these guys, like I said, they make the job easy, because it really is. What does come to you comes with it's such an advanced stage. You know, you're not really working. We aren't amateurs, you know, and that, you know, and
not at all.
Pretty modest. And I know that's contrary to what I just said, but really, that's not. We're not some kind of rinky-dink operation. These guys know what they're doing, and I protect them in many ways too, because I don't just introduce them to anyone and be like, yo, work with this guy because he spit a hot 16 for me, because it's bigger than that. So here I am, and a lover of music who gets to work with musicians. It's the most. It doesn't get doper than that.
Yeah,
that's what's up, man. I'm inspired. So I ran into Soundkillers after I met Ma, and I was like, yo, this is really dope what they put together. And I mean, I don't do the whole like.
Thank you, man.
Name. You're welcome. I don't really do the whole like name dropping thing. Like, you could work with this artist, that artist, whatever. You know, I'm cool with that. I like quality. Like, if I could go through your playlist and I'm hearing quality tracks, like, forget the names. You know, you could make quality music without having a big name. You know. Exactly. So, you know, shout out to you guys. But for the sake of this interview, do you guys want to go through some names of artists that you worked with all together?
Yeah.
Let me go first then.
Go ahead.
Let me go first. It's been a lot of Fabulous, Chrisette Michelle, 50 Cent, Bow Wow, Busta Rhymes, been a couple people.
Jim Jones.
Yeah.
So, working with those artists, you know, obviously they have a name. Obviously their name is important not just to them, but to the people who listen to them. Is it, when you actually get a chance to sit down with them and try to create with them, what is that experience like? I can imagine, or at least from my perspective, when I'm outside looking in, that it's a balance of ego and quality.
You know what? It depends. I could tell you from having different situations. Like, I could, with the Fabulous song, I'm in the studio with him, and like his verse is already cut.
Yeah. Okay.
And his verse is already cut, but we're chilling. So we're like talking, and I'm like giving him some feedback on the song. But in that part of my career, I was really young. So like I was just like happy that they cutting my song and that I'm working. But then like down the line when I work with Chrisette, she's just like, yo, what do you think about this? Fabulous didn't ask me that because his verse was cut.
Yeah.
Chrisette is like, what do you think about this? I'm like, well, you know, you should sing it like this. And when you think that diva or that whatever's gonna come out and they're open to being produced, now at this stage I'm like excited about that because now my input is warranted. Whereas the verse was already cut and he's just like, yo, you think it's cool? And I'm like, all right, I'm in the studio with y'all and all these girls and drinks. Of course it's cool. But like now when, you know, you get to work with somebody and they've already achieved something and they're like taking direction from you, it's like humbling, but then it gets you excited because, yo, this is why I do it. This is why I was like making this song in my house or, you know, wherever I made it. So I think like sometimes it's not really about the egos and stuff. Sometimes they're ready to meet you because you have something to give them as well too.
So Truth City.
Yes.
So excited to have you in the building.
Thank
I can't
you,
even express it. I happened upon you on Instagram just randomly. No one put me on to you per se, but when I heard your track, I'm like, this kid is hot.
Thank you,
I'm feeling him. So recently you dropped your new single, Broadway Junction. It's kind of sexy and funky and jazzy. Yes. Is this in anticipation for a new project coming out, or you just decided to throw some music out into the world?
You know what it is? I have a lot of music. That song is 2 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, and the thing is like I have, like he said, we have a commitment to quality. So a lot of the things that we were working on that I'd never let see the day of light, I made a complete album, and then I threw it away.
Oh.
Wow. It wasn't quality.
So you did a Kanye, you just did a thing, just tossed it.
Yeah, I spent like 5-6 months on a project before the project I dropped, and it was dope, but I was like, it's not ready. You know, so I just put it to the side and I started over. And but that was one of the tracks that it felt right. You know, I was on the train one day and I happened to be passing Broadway Junction. I just knew it wasn't by coincidence, so I dropped the track, and it definitely is an anticipation. I'm working with these guys on new stuff, so it's kind of like I'm trying to get the old stuff out and let people know like I'm about to start something new. So, and you know, every day, like you said, there's people latching on to the new project and the new music. So for those people who like enjoying, we live in a digital age. So it's like, they listen to the album all summer. Let's, you know what I mean, give them something else, and people will discover, you know what I mean, trickle down to the other stuff.
Yeah. So from your actual look to the way you sound in the studio on the mic, you sound a little bit like Kendrick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also to correlate with this commitment you have to high quality.
Yes.
Do you agree with that comparison, that you sound a little bit like Kendrick?
No, I get the comparisons, and I understand them. You know, those are definitely artists that I love and admire, and I think that's why I'm working with the Soundkillers, to like find a new sound, a new niche, something else to explore. And I think my coming up, like I said, was just me. So like I was the only person, I was my only critic, I was my only person to give myself feedback. You know, I didn't have crates, you know what I mean, of stuff that I can study and try to tap into something new. So working with these guys is why I did that, and that's my commitment to quality, to say, hey, some people are saying I sound like this. I don't want that. Let me ask, you know what I mean, let me reach out to some people to help me with that so I can get better, you know? So that's why I'm working on that.
So important question for all of you guys. A lot of artists come and sit right where you guys are sitting, and they say one or two things. Either I put an album out once a year, or put a project out once a year, or they say, I'm just out here putting out music. I want to flood the market. Which you guys think is more effective in today's world?
It's weird because I think that you have to keep, you know, your name in people's, you know, peripheral. Like you got to make sure that they're seeing your face. So, you know, like as a producer, like I try to do like a remix like pretty often, like once a month or something. And then in between that, there's other tracks and stuff. But I know as an actual artist, it's like, you know, you got to almost drop singles now instead of albums to just keep people going. And, you know, not only that, but time is moving so much faster. You know, like Drake dropped his mixtape, and then not even 6 months later, he did the one with Future.
Yes.
It's like things are coming out like this now, so I can't even really answer that because I think it's changing like as we speak.
And I think it's like a big thing where like with the internet, people want stuff so fast. You know, I dropped the project and then I get a text like maybe a few months later, it's like, yo, when you dropping a new one? I'm just like, geez, you know?
Like, get off me, bro.
And like I had to, like a friend of mine like told me like, you have to give something time to be appreciated. And with that commitment to quality that we have, you want people to be able to sit with something and say like, this is special. I don't have anything else from this person but this. And there's a reason for that I have to continue to like keep searching and keep looking. And as artists, you have to give that commitment to putting gems in there that people can continue to catch until you drop something new.
And I think you're leaving breadcrumbs too. It's like, you know that you're like, let's take Kendrick for example. You know, he put out Good Kid, Mad City, and I feel like that was when he got mainstream success. But he had 4 other amazing mixtapes before that, and it's like the people that just got onto him got to go back and listen to his growth and see.
Overly dedicated is everything.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think it's important to put those moments out there and let people see your growth. You know, as opposed to just being like, you know, single.
And just to piggyback on that, and because now there's something to be said about development over the years and getting better and better at what you do, but at the same time, Kendrick could have gotten to a point in his career where he got that mainstream success, and then you go back through the breadcrumbs, and it's just everything up until that point wasn't even worth the time and effort. So flooding the market with a bunch of material that just isn't good doesn't present any value, because at the same time, as fast as you gained a fan, you can lose one. They'll probably give you one great song and fall in love, and give you 2 at the most before they say, I'm done with this guy and I'm moving on, because there's so much else out there.
Exactly. And one thing you mentioned was that you were watching the growth, you know, and this is the first time we got to actually meet, and you said somebody's always watching you. And that, like, that gem is what I'm taking away also today. Is just like, I always feel like, you know, every time I meet somebody, they don't know me. You know what I mean? But with the internet, people can watch you from afar. Never hit you with a comment, never hit you with a like.
I never hit
never
you.
I was about to say he taking a shot.
Yeah, you have, no, you just have like a lot of people like who like become fans, but they're just like watching. You know what I mean? So with that, is what you were saying. I want to be able to grow, and from leaving those breadcrumbs, you allow people to be part of the growth. To say like, yo, I'm not the best. There's a lot of things I don't know. There's a few flaws I have, but watch me get better. Like watch the growth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm starting to see a lot. So I have a background in website development, website management, design. I'm starting to see a lot of words and phrases and strategy from that world ooze over into hip hop. For example, I spoke to an artist just recently, and they talked to me about minimalism and how people, with the short attention spans of today's crowd now. If you did like 4 or 5 song EP and put out something, 3, 5, 6 months later, people will rock with it the same way. Do you guys agree?
Minimalism is a big thing now, like especially like in today's time, because I think there was so many times where everything was jam packed. If you ever remember, there were the mixtape covers and there was like 20 things in the picture. I mean, like people was photoshopping like crazy. You know what I mean? Like
bottles, Mercedes,
and it was crazy. And it's like now we got into this age where people was like, let me see it, like, and people are coming back to just like the body work, the product. That's all they want. They want the product. They don't want all the things that come around it. I don't need to see like a white bikini girl to buy this underwear. It's underwear. I just want the underwear. But now, like, you know what I mean? Like brands are just like slapping underwear on a white picture and saying buy underwear. You know what I mean? Like it's we're back to that. You know what I mean? Like, so I think minimalism is definitely coming back. People just want the product, want the quality. Just give it to them. You know what I mean? With all the extra propaganda behind it.
Give them the underwear, man.
Give me the underwear, ladies. Now, pause. Ladies, put it up.
Ladies. Yes. Okay, so there's so many different areas I want to dive with this conversation.
Let's get it, man.
Okay, so let's talk about the industry a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting, lovely place with.
But
just tell it how it is.
There's sub-levels.
Oh, there are a lot of levels.
There's places you can enjoy.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Love hate.
So let's start with that.
Okay.
There's I've been interested in being an A&R before in my life, right? I love music a lot. There are A&R opportunities out there right now that I would definitely dive onto, but I feel like I would hate my job and I would hate music after doing it for too long, because you end up in a place where it's not about the creativity and the culture, but it's more so about the actual how much money can I make off of this artist. So where do you find that enjoyment? I'll start with mine.
Well, not to harp on the same point, but I mean, the guys that I work with kind of make my job easy. I mean, I don't work for, and I'm not even going to name a name because I might be disrespecting somebody, but I don't work with a group of people that are generating a certain type of music that I don't thoroughly enjoy.
Fair enough.
So,
okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, there's a job and then there's your passion in doing what you love and enjoying it. And I have the good fortune of working with people who really do deliver. So, look, we all got to pay the bills, and with due respect, sometimes you got to work with artists that you don't want to work with. But I think it's honestly a better question for producers who put their heart and soul into creating music, and then, Joe Kill 'em on the block comes and
he's hot too.
Yeah,
he's bars
right now. He heard his new joint though. But anyway, but that guy comes on and he's got 16s and he's got the money for the track. And we were kind of just talking about this before the interview started. I can afford this beat. I got the music for it. You know what I'm saying? I've written to it. Gimme, please. And at what point does a producer say, but my integrity just doesn't allow me to give this to you? Or does that even happen?
My integrity set up.
Right. So, I think it's a better question for like Sham and Rio.
So I have a comparison as well to design, because I came from the art world, and one thing that I noticed about the industry that's interesting about music is that, okay, so all the other creative arts like design and fashion, they all are based on luxury, right? So you can have Louis Vuitton, who can sell like this basic leather belt for like a lot of money, but music is still 99 cents, $1.29. Stevie Wonder, and
me.
and whoever rapper, it's still the same
Kill 'em on the
price.
block.
It's still a parallel, but you can go to a gallery and see a painting on the wall for millions of dollars. You know, it's all because it's about hype, and it's about quality and all these things. But in music, there's no barrier like that, and I think that sometimes that people get confused by that when they see sales, like if something's really successful, it's the number one or whatever. Is it number one because it sold the most, or is it number one because nobody else came out that week and you sold 30,000 copies and you're number one?
That's a good point, yeah.
But people write that on their press release and their press kit. Like my first placement was with Beyonce, and it was like, to answer, kind of go back to the other question you were saying, like who I work with and stuff, with the industry, it's like I emailed a beat, that happened to go to a writer. I was never in the studio with her. But, that's what people always ask me, like, oh, how was it working with her, all these things like that. And I've never seen her before.
Oh, wow.
So it's like behind the scenes, like the industry is like.
Yeah, man, it's like, I feel like in these terms of like songwriting and sending demos to people, it's just like this disconnect. I think one story I heard was like the B.O.B. record, Airplanes. Like, they never worked in a studio. It was like an email over of a hook. Somebody redid it and sent. You know what I mean? It's just like this.
It's very mechanical.
It's very mechanical. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like we're in these days now where, like, everything is just digital and it's never no feeling anymore. Like, I miss the feeling of what it was like being in the studio.
I do hear a lot from a lot of artists.
Yeah, man.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No, I was gonna ask Shaman real quick.
I wanna piggyback off what you said. Like you said something about like the A&R thing and hating your job. Like for me, like I do music full time, so it's like I really wanna love the stuff I do. So it's like sometimes, you got the guy who got the check, Kill Him on the Block, and you like, I could give it to him, but like, is Mont gonna come back and say, yo, that new song you got with Joe Kill Him on, I care about that. I'm like, yo, like Rio texted me yesterday, like, yo, that new song, man, yo, it sound like you're evolving, and I like that. I don't want to be like, yo, did you hear the Joe Kill Him on the Block? And Rio's just like putting the hood on lower. Like, so it's like, I want to get,
I can
like,
see that. I can
it's
see
like,
that.
it's like when you do this, money is involved, but it's like, it's something about joy. Like, it's like we got this show coming up, and it's gonna be this Wednesday plug,
Fire
the
show.
21st. And it's like this sounds so corny. I can't sleep at night because I'm just like, it's like I see Truth posting. Rio hit me like, yo, look what I'm gonna do with the visuals, and then Mont is like, yo, at rehearsal, Sham, stand a little more straight, and it's just like everybody's so excited that like and that's the part that I love. You know what I'm saying? So like. It's like the joy, like, it's business and, cut the check. But at the end of the day, like, did you wake up like, oh, I got to go do this radio interview? Like, it's like, I'm excited.
He made a good point, man, because I was just talking to my girl about that. I woke up and I said, I got to go to this radio interview in the morning. But I was up. But if I had to go to work, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, trying to drag out of bed. I was up, ready to go, smiling. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? It's just like when you love what you do, man, and, like, you love the people you work with, and, like, you guys are all on the same page, and you have the same level idea of what you want. It's never, like, just walking into some studio with some rap you don't want to work with and doing things you don't, like, I don't worry about that with Mom. Mom's not going to text me an email saying, Truth, no, you're not gonna like this. But, like, he won't do that. I know that any opportunity he gives me, like, it's gonna be like fun, and it's gonna be a way for me to grow. You know what I mean?
That's what's up. First off, again, thank you guys for all coming into the studio.
Thank you.
I did also wake up for my alarm clock because I was like, yo, I got Soundkillers coming. I got all these artists coming. Yo, it's gonna be so lit today.
Nah, isn't that a great feeling, man?
It is.
Love what you do, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I love what I do personally, but I put my alarm clock on 4 times before I finally got it.
I
was dumb tired.
A lot of
That's me. That's me.
Bad,
I was worried about Rio this morning.
But that's like the thesis, like, especially, like, I guess for my brand. You know what I mean? Like, I preach that a lot. If you guys get to catch the concert, I do, like, sermons.
We will.
Yes.
Yeah, I do sermons,
I'm already
man.
there, though.
The promo was so crazy. Have you seen it on Instagram?
I haven't.
The promo was so, yo, I want to look up Instagram promo video because the video, yo.
That's this genius.
Everybody,
right here.
Yo, shout out to Rio, man. That's fire.
Thanks.
Everybody can check it too. Just go on at the Soundkillers. You guys can see what he's talking about.
Yes.
On every
like,
platform.
That's what we mean. Like, we can easily just post a flyer, but, like, it's always like, yo, I got this idea. Like, how can we push it? You know what I mean? We're doing, like, creating promo videos and putting stuff together to just give a little quality. It's not about a like. Who cares about a like?
Word.
You know what I mean? It's a person just clicking. You know what I mean? But it's for us to look back and say, we put it out there, we're happy with it.
And with all the noise that's coming out, it's like, how do you get people's attention? Like, you got to do something different. You got to break through. You know,
Isn't
you're
it-
gonna make them stop in the middle of their scroll, like, whoa,
Exactly.
what?
Like,
Let me
that
watch
was a
that again.
wonderful feeling. I mean,
Or and I hopefully by now you gotten the sense that this isn't a collective of like egos and
No, not
people
at all.
who walk
No.
around with a sense like we're better than you. So coming out to the show is actually a great opportunity to meet and connect with these guys and everybody who's a part of the brand, because we want people to feel connected with us.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
Yeah,
let's
for
all like plug forward together. That's the most amazing part of it. So I'm really looking forward to like introducing these guys to people who I've put on like that I've introduced to their work to, who like yo, when's Sham dropping another one? I'm like, yo, come to the show, meet Sham. You know, ask him yourself.
ask them yourself.
It's gonna be crazy.
I know at Truth City, a part of the reason why I did stop is I really loved the album artwork.
Thank you.
I loved how it just sounded very ambitious, and it seemed like this young kid in this big world before him. I was just like, yo, speaking to my life though.
That's
Like-
one of the biggest, like, I guess conversations I have, like, with people who like the album. It was the artwork first.
Yeah,
Like-
absolutely. The artwork drew me.
And it was done by a guy named Eugene Surik. He's from the Ukraine.
Okay.
And it's funny, like, just like you said, the commitment to quality, I was on this website. It's called DeviantArt. And
Yeah, I know DeviantArt.
I'm a
I'm
big
familiar.
fan of it. And, like, I was going through it. I think I went through it for, like, 3 weeks. Like, I was so particular on what I wanted it to look like.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big anime head. So I finally found Eugene, and I hit him, and he doesn't even speak English, so he's using the Google Translator. We never met, you know what I mean? Like, so we were going back and forth. He was sending sketches for maybe 3 months, and I was like, nah, I need to change this here, and like, you know, I need the buildings to look like this. Like, no, I'm gonna show you a picture of the block I live on. You know what I mean? Like, it was a lot of back and forth. So, like, that album, man, like, it was a moment in time that I appreciate and like I want to grow from.
Yeah, definitely. So Sham and Rio, as producers, you understand that a lot of reasons why artists do blow up is because of the work y'all two do specifically. So Slim Jesus, I already knew before I even finished. How do you feel? I mean, like it's kind of an obvious answer. How do you feel about him though? But do you feel like an artist like him can even sustain himself, even if he has the best producers on his side? Do you feel like as an artist like him can sustain himself with just dope producers, or do you feel like eventually artists like him just will fizzle out by default?
I mean, the comment section's destroying him enough. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, just if you read the comments and stuff that people say, I even saw something at A3C where some other rapper named some Black Jesus was like messing with him. Like, it was like, yo, tell everybody who the real Jesus is. He was kind of like pulling him to the side, and the kid kind of ran away. Like, so I just feel like
he's a punk. How
He
was
was in
it?
Brooklyn. He was in Brooklyn last night, matter of fact.
he's like a little kid. He's
Don't
like
tell me
real-
that.
No, he's like
We only Jesus is fighting. Though.
Right.
Like,
That's already, yeah.
But I think that, you know, just like with anything, there's like fast food, you know, and then there's
He's the
fine,
fast food
there's-
of hip hop.
and
I'm here
fine
for it.
dining. So, you know, you get, you know,
Pick what
sometimes
you want, man. You want the quality, you gotta like, you know, pay for it, appreciate it.
I think he'll fizzle out. You mentioned fizzle, so I think he'll fizzle out. But like he said, fine dining, you know, it's gonna be an audience for that. So they're gonna like him now, and then it's gonna
It's a
something
defining
else is gonna
moment.
come.
Maybe.
Like, it's a defining moment.
some
in
people
hip-hop,
never stop
though.
liking fast food.
And here's another thing.
Mm.
I noticed with things like Love and Hip Hop and certain reality shows that I question why people are into this. And I think that it's mainly because you need to see something that makes you feel better about your life or yourself, right? So I think when a lot of artists or a lot of people see Slim Jesus, they think, oh, at least I'm not that bad. Or at least I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Or if you see somebody crazy on Love and Hip Hop, you're like, I'm not that crazy, you know, and you feel better
Word,
about
that's
it.
true, though.
I think there's something about like hearing
character.
really ratchet, really like terrible, you know, music that it just makes you feel, you know, yeah, you know. And especially if you don't make music, like, you know, if someone could sing a Fetty Wap song, I think that's why he's popular, because anybody in the club can sing that and not sound, they sound better than him.
Because I can't sing for
Right?
shit.
That's the thing.
But in the club, you like, but I think that's why he's popular. But there's a lot of intimidation I found out when I was in LA. If you got like a beautiful girl who can sing really well, she doesn't do well in the like polls. Because people, like a lot of women are insecure, they jealous, they don't want their man looking at her, and then she's talented, you know, fuck that bitch. It's a lot of that. So I noticed that, like, it's really weird. Like the girl from Pussycat Dolls, Nicole Scherzinger, she had so much trouble because she could sing, she was pretty, but You know,
Never
I've
connected.
seen that. So I think that sometimes people want a little bit of trash. You know, they want a little junk food in their life.
No flaws.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, so we're gonna cut to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about industry plans and a little more into some current events. It's the Encore Radio Show. Good morning. What's up, folks? This is Wise.
This is I.S. Jones. On November 11th, we're going to put together our very first show called Art Genesis, a hip-hop manifesto.
Address is 226 West 145th Street. Art Genesis, the Hip Hop Manifesto, is a series of shows about representing hip-hop as a form of art.
We're going to have a dope collective of really awesome rappers. On top of that, we'll also have some side performances.
Yep, we have Lil Reggie of Empire of the Nation, Denzel Porter of Rec House, Yo Luck from VA, and Lion Clan of Camo Style. Plus, special guests by my good friend DJ Mega, and of course, my co-host, I.S. Jones. Hosted by Sammy Alexandra. Y'all know her from the My Mama Make It showcase. So definitely come out November the 11th. Tickets are $5. Media, you guys get in for free. Hit us up, the Encore Radio Show at gmail.com.
Yo, it's your favorite South Bronx rapper, Reggie the God, coming from Empire of the Nation, Fear the 23rd and all that. And I would like to invite you to the New Rules pre-shows, November 13th and November 28th, full of dope artists. And if you want to perform, just hit me up on my social media handles, Young Regito on Twitter and Reggie the God on Instagram. I'm definitely accepting artist music, dope artists only. All right, don't come to me with all that foo-foo. I don't care about that. I'm looking for dope artists that's about it, that have their heart in their music. So if you down, you down. Hit me up. No rules.
Coming up on a future episode of the Encore Radio Show.
Check, I'm good. Look, tuck your win as I enter. Rap, fuck, kill, all part of the agenda, bitch, I'm raw. Fuck skills, saw God in the mirror. Heard the devil in my thoughts, good at heart, but I'm a sinner. Every ball is a scripture, hear me draw. Every picture, this is art. Close your eyes, let your ears see me clearer. Fuck your gimmicks and your image. I'm organically designed. You special con ed, dumb niggas paying for shine. Okay, you made it, that's fine. Went to the major, got signed, lost your spark. Meanwhile, I got greater with time. You make jingles, I rhyme. I heard your single, you try. Now can you please return into the fucking shadows you climb from out of? Survive a full-time grind of pain that was born out of shame of being deprived of all of the things I wanted pray. Hoping I don't catch a case. No lie, move eights, move O's on that 8 train line. Smell that dank in my clothes with that stink. So loud, I'm flipping trees, stacking dough. I need studio time. Need a means to and then chasing dreams. I did tens, flipping trees that I was shifts on my feet. Trying to win, no sleep. You do it sales, I do me. Fuck a trend, a little frail, but I swing, go out a bitch. Nah, nigga, not me. They got a little bars, but them niggas not me. You looking at a star, I'm a whole different breed, different caliber. Underground with these amateurs stuck in limbo. All of that shit made me an animal. Won't die waiting, no, not me. Boy, I'm hungry before I quit. Walk in the label with C4 strapped on me. I'm a beast. Heard you was sleeping on me. Where a nigga rest in peace. Hey, boy, you're so bony. What they feeding you? Beats. To me, that's just a side, boy. I'm out here trying to eat. All these niggas trying to rhyme are just gonna end up with a feast of rappers on top of the game. I'm after waiting after you. Gonna only make me mad. I got a fucking attitude. I need a challenge. I challenge you. You platinum will waste some years. We'll see what's here after. God, I hope them niggas hate me. You made them nice like me. I'ma show you why they ain't me. Was never born to wait. Take breaks only occasionally. Rap, slaughter, fuck, kill, beats on the daily. And murder was the case that they gave me, nigga. Truth City, man. Shout out to y'all, man. Thank you, Encore Radio. You already know what it is. Soundkiller.
All right, we're back, folks. This is the Encore Radio Show, live here with the Soundkillers. We just had a very interesting conversation there.
This is deep.
Oh, man.
Bars.
Wise here with I.S. Jones. We got to share a mic. We're very close.
We're very close today.
Yeah, we got very close.
Harmonize for the rest of the interview.
Facts.
We will try.
We will try.
We will try. I can't sing. Anyway.
I'm not going to sing in front of you anymore because you blackmailed me. He has footage of me singing horribly, and I'll never forgive you. Never.
And we're here with the Soundkillers.
Yo, email me that, son.
I will. Actually.
Y'all are so petty.
I will actually, because I told her don't sing.
It gets posted if you don't show up at the show.
Yeah.
Oh.
I like
Why
that.
would you?
We don't
why
see
would
y'all
you,
in the show.
But why would you give him ideas? You were out.
Oh man. So let's talk about industry plans. A lot of people have been discussing it. I mean, it's been going on for years. It's been going on for years, for decades, matter of fact, actually. But in this time period where we are, I mean, at least myself, we're all looking for genuine true talent, is it annoying to you guys that people still, industry still like grooming specific people to be like, okay, you know what, yo, you fit here real well, and you have this correct sound. Let's just slide you in here. You may not have everything, but we could give it to you.
It annoys me personally. I mean, just like on a standpoint of independent music and all of the grinding that you have to do, like to get fans, and then somebody just gets slid in. It just annoys me personally, but I feel like it doesn't, because at the end of the day, like quality like lasts forever, and like that can only like it'll fizzle. Like the only thing I get annoyed by is that like you taking up like 15 seconds more of my time. I mean, like you're interrupting a process of people who are working hard. So that's why I get annoyed. But it's inevitable. Like eventually you'll fizzle out and you'll get out the way. You know what I mean?
I'll go to the producers. You guys ever see, randomly obviously with you guys being deep in music, you hear about artists a lot, right? Is there ever a situation where all of a sudden an artist just drops out of nowhere and you're like, but you got this person backing you and I've never heard you before? How does this?
I think that it's the business side of it, man. I've seen it so many times where like there's a lot of people who are looking at the map, looking for blips on the map, like whether it be like spins or like this person is like running their whole town, like they got their songs on the radio, they're doing clubs or whatever, and then these people like to swoop down and grab them and try to make money off them. That's really what all this is about. It's about nothing else. It's not about music. It's about the bottom line. And if I'm, someone once told me there's no money in innovation, only in like duplication, like only being like the person said that I don't have to be the first person. I just need to be the second. If I see, but it's true, and that was an industry person, and it is very true. We are creators. We want to be the spark, right? But someone's looking for smoke, and they're gonna come over there, and then they're gonna rape the culture. They're gonna do whatever, and then they're gonna get to the next
go back to the
next
board.
smoke that they see, smoke signal. So I think that's really what it's about, and I don't know if there's a strategy of like industry plans. I think it's just people who make money, like Bobby Shmurda. His song's blown up, people signed him. Fetty Wap, his song's blown up, people signed. Like, because you're not gonna, you need the machine, right? You need all the PR, you need all the press, the everything.
They think they need it.
So then they sign the deal and they get it, and then they're not hot no more. They left Bobby Shmurda in jail, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real.
Right.
Yeah.
You're right.
That was Sham, by the way. That wasn't me.
I watched that interview, matter of fact, listened to that interview, matter of fact, regarding L.A. Reid and leaving Bobby Shmurda in jail, and Fetty Wap, another just blew up out of nowhere type situation. Have you guys had a chance to listen to his project?
I tried.
Fetty Wap?
Yes,
I tried. You know what? I appreciate, like, and we talked about this a little earlier. I appreciate ideas. I appreciate like the overall stereo. I guess like when I'm listening to the album, I'm like, oh, I like these melodies, or oh, I like this hook. You know what I mean? Like I try to listen to everything so I can pick apart something.
Okay.
I like dope about it, so I can apply it as an artist. You know what I mean, I guess so to speak. So lyrically, it's definitely not like a Nas or anything, but. Like I listen to it. I said I'll pick apart what I like. This is good for a couple radio spins, and then on to the next. It's like we always do.
And I think that music, because without the internet, right? Just imagine, without internet, without like Netflix, without all these things to distract us, music was a way of life, right? It used to really be that. But I think now music is on in the background of life. Of my Instagram, of my Snapchat, of the concert that I'm at. I see so many concerts where people aren't there to actually listen to music. They're there to take picture there to make people jealous.
You can't even see the
to see that they got in there.
There's actually crazy artists that be at Coachella. Go figure. I know you didn't. Wow. Because it's all about the fit. It's all about just being present where things are happening, where the live event is.
It's about me now.
And it isn't to take away. I don't want to take away from the variety that has to exist in music, right? We can coexist. Like Fetty Wap can live in a world where there's a Nas. You know what I'm saying? So it isn't like to take away from anything from artists like that. Personally, it isn't my cup of tea, but we all have our moments. We be in the club and enjoying it. There's an atmosphere for it.
Because you don't want to seem crazy when the song come on and everybody else singing it.
Right.
And there's no foul for that. Like for you to sing along with it and just enjoy that moment. You got a girl grinding, whatever. And that's what I think that's about. Like it's about, I don't want to look stupid not knowing this song, and or I'm just enjoying myself. Well, I can't like this song just because it's on in the club. Yeah, you can like it, and there's other misconception that there isn't good music out right now. There's tons of amazing music. Like you just gotta know, you gotta dig more than ever to get it, but it still exists. But
I was speaking to somebody recently and sharing. So my wife has a friend who was like, really just like looking for every reason in the book not to come to the show that we're having on October 21st. Soundkillers plug right here in Brooklyn. But anyway, so she was fronting, right? Like one reason or another she couldn't come, but homegirl's at every Jay-Z concert. She makes the time, but you know what? There's something but you know what I actually like now is that there's something to be said about the people who are ahead of the curve, who really know what's coming next, who has an appreciation for what's underground and what's incredibly dope outside of what's on the radio or what everyone else is aware of. There's no talent or value in the person who knows what's hot because it's already been hot, right? Don't tell me Jay-Z's dope. Jay-Z's been around. Tell me about some kid who is in the Bronx named Phoenix Says, who makes these incredible beats, and you have to hear it. Yeah. That's more of a value to me.
Absolutely.
So that's becoming a thing. So
it is.
Kids are
that's what I'm saying.
Kids are really into like discovering like the next.
Kids love SoundCloud. You can SoundCloud surf forever.
Pigeons and Planes just did an article where they were talking about they were like, yo, you would be and just really surprised to hear what like 18-year-olds are listening to right now. We've never heard of some of these artists, but this is what they're into.
Yo, speaking of that, my little brother, he's in college and he got a football scholarship, and we were talking and he was saying how he doesn't know what's gonna happen after football and this and that, so he's been DJing and he's always loved music. He sent me his first couple of mixes the other day, and I swear I didn't know one song, but it was all jamming. I was like, you gotta send me this stuff.
It's an awesome feeling when you hear something new, and then you be like, what is? I literally like on my phone, every day I add about 10 new songs a day. I have 6,000 songs in my.
What size is that? What size is
iCloud.
iCloud. Premium.
But that's what I'm saying. How many from Hove and not? It's like with due respect to those people, even the people that are out right now that are hot right now. Yeah. I always have more interest in who's next, and
I'm looking for that.
Who doesn't have the audience but is just making incredible music.
Exactly.
Yeah. The most interesting part of what you guys said just now is that I don't want to say the young generation, but kids who are still between 16 and 21, they have a much different perspective on music that they like to listen to.
Right.
Yeah.
My secret, I have little cousins who are in my generation of family members that are 14, 15. And I'm like, hey, Serena, what you listening to today? And I'll plug from her and I'll listen to that person and I'll kind of piggyback on from there. I'm 27. I will never have a connection with an artist who's 19, but at least I can find out about them and I can watch their career grow and grow with them. So, that's really the secret. You have to keep your foot on the ground, and you can't do that as you get older. As you get older, your head starts to kind of float onto so many other different things.
And I will say this from a production standpoint. It's weird because, I know me and Sham started making beats on the MPC, very tactile, very analog. You had to chop the sample, everything. You only had a limitation with sample time. Now when you have a computer and YouTube and download Fruity Loops and the drum pack, you good. I had to save up money to get my MPC, $2,000. You had to really even be in the studio. You had to pay money. There was a price of entry. Now there's no price of entry. So there's kids that are doing stuff now. Like I said, my brother's mix that he played. They're doing things just technically that I'm like, how did they even know how to do that? That took me so long to learn, but. Now with Google, with YouTube, there's tons of people learning. Back in the day, you had to know somebody who had an MPC to show you how to do. And if they didn't know, then you was really, really lost. So I think that it's beautiful. It's also like the older you get, you want to hold on to the rules that you followed growing up because you feel like other people have to go through that too.
You paid.
Right. But it's not true, you know. So I think a lot of these kids get good in like 2-3 years. They learn what it took me 10 years to learn in 2 or 3 years just from asking YouTube.
I was probably like 15, 14 when I probably first heard one of Sham's beats. I was like, yo, Sham made this? But if that would have happened today with a 14 or 15-year-old, they'd be like, oh, cool. Like, dope.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is going to segue perfectly into my next question. Now, you guys see it a lot. I was born in the 80s. I believe a lot of you were born in the 80s as well, right?
90s.
I'm a 90s baby.
I'm a 90s baby.
Y'all lucky. You're lucky. Cool. So, you know.
2000. Yesterday.
So, you know, you see a lot of people feel salty in a sense that, you know, we went through this hard, tough road, and you guys are doing this so easy. You don't understand. You don't feel the culture of it. I see a lot of people that are my age and even slightly older talk about, oh, well, music isn't the same no more, and I don't like this and I don't like that. But hip hop is so young. So isn't there isn't there still room to grow, room to fit all of these different sounds into the culture?
Yeah, I mean, we came from a place, I mean, like, doing my research, like, as I was coming up, like, we came from this place where everything was just this, and then it branched out to, like, a borough. This borough had, like, you know, in Harlem, they had Caribbean sounds, now people adding this, and it's just like it became this subdivision, you know what I mean, of different sounds. So it's like, I get that people always want to keep, you know what I mean, what they latched on to when they were younger, but at the end of the day, you have to give something time to grow. It has to go through phases, like...
Everything has to evolve. Like
everything.
I remember I was in LA and I went to this conference and the keynote speaker was Quincy Jones, and they went like over his story, and you know Quincy Jones is like amazing as far as what he does on the production side, but because I'm in the musicianship, he told some stories that I didn't understand. He said he came up in the big beat era, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and he was producing and learning different styles. So it was like, you know, jazz is a derivative of gospel. So some of those things, you know, like some of those like chordings and things they do piano-wise like that, it came from gospel musicians. So I'm saying all that to say, like, you know, sometimes somebody from gospel might hear a jazz song and say, oh, that's a rip from this gospel song, and whatever the case. It's not like don't love the song, because it had to evolve. It started with that song, but it has to go somewhere else and become better. So even though hip-hop is young, I think it's going to continue to get better, but I care about the quality of the hip-hop evolving, not just like it being like this person carbon copy into the bad guy being carbon copy into a worse guy. It needs to be like, it needs to come up. So I think that's why, like, for me, like, when I see music, it's not that I don't want to listen to it. It's like, okay, Fetty Wap, okay, what's going to come after him? Because somebody's younger listening to him, and they're going to get on it. And it's like, I want to hear right notes. I want to hear melody. He has great melody, but I want to hear melody sung correctly in the right pitch. So
yeah, but, you know, I think the thing that kind of showed me where the youth is thinking is with the whole Drake and Meek Mill battle, right? When it was exposed that, you know, Drake has help, you know, that he's human, that he's actually, you know, getting references or getting ideas from other people, because he's such a star now that he doesn't have time to just sit there and come up with everything from scratch. It's like he needs to, you know, he's a business now. And I think that when you saw that those reference tracks came out, and all the old heads were like, oh, but then the young people were like, what?
That's what I'm saying. Like really?
Because here's my theory, right? Singing has been around forever, but rap is relatively new. It's relatively young. So I think in the beginning of singing, maybe, you know, like to say that someone's not singing a song they didn't write is kind of weird, right? Like Whitney Houston didn't write hardly anything, like, you know, but we still think she's one of the greatest singers of all time. You know, I think
singing is the actual
technique.
So it's rap though.
Well,
it's a skill. It's still a skill. It's a skill. This is what I'm saying. It's
And
evolving.
therein lies the problem.
It's
Why?
evolving. Look.
We all think we can do it.
It's evolving to this point to where it's not young anymore. So all the things that all the people wanted it to be and all this stuff, it's not doing that. It's having a kid. You can tell your kid all these things. You can train them. You can whatever, and then they're gonna be who they want to be. And that's what I think how we need to treat the music. And, you know, there's going to be other genres of music going to come out of hip hop that, you know, people are going to be like, what? Like even dubstep. Dubstep had like a small little, but the community like destroyed it. Like there was people like, oh, dubstep shouldn't be like this. It should be like everyone has their opinions, man, but I think it should just evolve how it's going to evolve. And there's a lot of really good hip hop out there. There's a lot of trashy stuff, but I'm just saying that nowadays the culture is that you know, you don't have to write it, man. As long as you can perform it, as long as you're entertaining, as long as you're selling tickets.
So, quick question, just a quick question, because we dive into that Drake conversation, we will never leave here. Right? Okay, can Drake be considered a great of all time?
Of course.
Okay.
Didn't even let him.
Yeah, because I want to, because I do sort of feel, of course, but if there's more to that question.
Go ahead, finish the question.
Okay, no, can he be considered a great of all time if he has people writing reference tracks for him or giving him basically the entire thing? All he's doing is just rapping it.
So, question, can Kanye?
Right, because Kanye did the same thing, has done the same thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like,
and so has everyone. But you just don't know those stories.
Right.
Because you're not supposed to talk about it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Well,
it's taboo.
Why not? Because in that same thing, Quincy Jones said another key point was the key to your success is collaboration.
Yes.
So I always say, like, sometimes Rio just throw me something. It'll be like one full minute, and I'm like, where's the rest? He's like, what do you think of it? Yo, did you hear any keys on it? Because he's looking for collaboration. Because once I play keys on it and I hear it back, it's something different now. Because you know it's collaboration.
It's a compound.
Right.
But it's like somebody like you interrupted a process that you don't need to be part of. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like when that whole thing happened with the Drake and people were like, oh, he has writers, and I wonder who else is like, it's none of your business. Enjoy the music. It's
collaboration. That's another job for somebody.
Like, I mean, like, appreciate the product that you've been given.
And like I said, he's a brand now, so he doesn't have time to miss. He can't miss. It's like he's got too much rock. He's paying too many people's, you know, salary to just like go in there and start from scratch. Like, all right, guys, like,
right. But when you because when you dedicate yourself to caring about your legacy, then obviously things that you do along the way will require some assistance. When you come in and what you're doing may be a little bit more raw, people immediately start to step in and help you refine that. That's what producers do, right? They don't just give you a beat and walk away, hopefully. Some will sit in the studio and help you create that song and say, okay, you see how you were hitting this note? I'm thinking you should take it a little bit higher. So all of that, to Sham's point, it's about collaboration. Now, I hear what you're saying. With rap, there is just this unspoken rule about not having people write for you, which is preposterous. And I think we talked about evolution, and we're at a point now where fundamentalists may not agree with me. Those people who are like hip-hop core, you know, 1982, this is what it should have been. But we have evolved. We've evolved to a place where hip-hop wants to deliver something that's great. And some people care about that and recognize that I can't do this alone. It takes
and
additional
it's like, are we talking about a
help.
song or are we talking about a record? You know what I mean? Like, are we talking about, like, you know what I mean, like a quality body of work? Like, I think if Drake didn't care, or if like it was a thing like, oh, I'll just wait till I get in the studio, write what I write, and it's done. Like, he reached out to somebody to say, help me make this great. You know what I mean?
And you know, I feel like that I realized Santa Claus wasn't real when I found out about like my favorite producers like Timbaland or whatever. Like, they put their name on it, but then you don't know some kid from Virginia, like, you know, that he found on the street is really making that beat. Like, there's so many beats that you think are somebody that they're not. And I think that as a producer, that blew me away at first. But then I started to understand, like, okay, well, you know, Timbaland has made so many beats in his life. You know, and he was doing that for someone. He was doing that for Devontae in the beginning. Devontae was putting his name. So it's all, that's how it works. Like, you can't be.
And like you were saying earlier, you just want to be second. So if more people want to have success, and if you consider Drake's music great, why wouldn't more people follow that? Like, if you know, like, oh, I'm going to write every lyric. All right, cool, man. Like, you wrote every lyric for 5 albums. Like, if you want to have some, like, if we talking about bringing up the quality of music, if I could bring in some people that's going to keep the quality of music high.
Make me better.
Right. Why wouldn't I want to, I want to exercise that.
Ask yourself how many how many projects or albums or songs that you love would never have existed if someone didn't follow this model?
I'm afraid to ask that question.
Right? Do you
I'm
think
afraid.
about
all
like,
of it?
I'm afraid.
I think
I'm afraid.
nothing would exist
I'm
if
afraid.
we
I'm
couldn't
afraid.
collaborate. So writers, to Sham's point too, is like that's a full-time job for people, and some people don't belong behind the mic. But some people are crazy with that pen.
I think
Yeah.
Fetty Wap
What do
is
we
a
do?
great writer. If someone else sang those songs, they might be amazing.
And like,
But in this world, we've lowered this bar of entry
Exactly. You're right.
to where it's acceptable. We'll take a songwriter's voice.
And like just speaking on terms of I spent a lot of time ghostwriting. Like I never really got a chance to like tell people because it really wasn't a thing like you talk about. You know what I mean? It's something you do. So like I spent a lot of time ghostwriting. I used to go to studios. People email me like, "Yo, you send this over. I send you this much money." Like, and I used to just send bars, and then I used to sit on, as World Star Hip Hop, and I'm watching guys drop songs, and I wrote the lyrics.
Wow.
And then like
I didn't even know.
Does that hurt?
And,
Does that hurt?
it started to hurt. I mean, at first it was like, yo, I'm just trying to get a little bread or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I laugh. Somebody be like, you heard that new joint? And I'm just like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it was cool, but after a point in time, it started to be like, like, where's my record? I helped. You know what I mean? Like, I helped.
You want your name on it.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like as a ghostwriter, like, Drake, he didn't hide anything. Like, the guy's name is on the credits.
He's
like,
on the
guy
credits.
got credits.
The last 2 albums.
And then the guy told the story, I think, in Complex. He said, look, like, Drake, I was working at a bakery. Drake saw me. He was like, yo, I'm going to give you, a retainer, fly you here, quit your job, come
And
help
if you
me.
hear his stuff on his own,
It
He
ain't
said
that.
he
He
said
said
he
that. He
ain't
said, I
pulling
can't
it off
deliver
like
it
Drake.
the way that guy delivers.
He said, I walked in, Drake already had the records done. I just he said, what do you hear on this? He mimicked some of what Drake already did, added his flavor, and Drake was like, oh, I like the way you switched it up on this. I'm going to do that. So it's like people are listening to these reference tracks, but they don't know the time frame in which they were made. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
see,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I
Too
can
many
I can
assumptions are
respect
made.
that. I can respect that because like if I see that you're credited, I'm expecting that you might have said, oh no, don't use that word, use this word, or you know what, maybe do this verse this way and then do the other verse a different way. That's what I expect. I don't expect you wrote the whole damn thing and was like, yo. You know what? Here, write it, and I wrote it for you. All you gotta do is just repeat it the exact
But
same way.
see how it's interrupting you enjoying it? Like, like now people are listening to the music like, oh, I wonder who wrote this.
like if
Steve
Steve Jobs himself didn't make my iPhone, but that doesn't make me like
It's a
it
whole
any
team,
less.
though, that made
yeah.
put it together.
It's called
who?
It's
A whole
called
team.
Apple. It's you know what? No, it's called Apple. So if it was Drake and Cole, I would be like, all right, I understand it's Drake and Cole or Drake and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But to just say Drake and then I gotta go and look at I gotta log
That's
on to
business,
ASCAP
man.
and
Yeah.
figure
That's
out
business.
who wrote
Like, look at it.
so-and-so.
It's like Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
I like that.
Yeah,
He's like, it could have
But
been
it's
just
business,
Macklemore.
though.
I
It's
have to-
business.
because you again, a lot of people could afford a credit there. So that makes it the album of 17 to 33 names.
1738.
Why devalue right? Because otherwise you devalue the contribution of someone who was the producer or the engineer.
Yeah.
You know, this is a collective of people who are working towards a project for an artist.
Like, that's beautiful.
And
man.
it's
like,
okay to have someone at the
that's 16
forefront.
and 15
More people should do it.
Right.
That's just more people should do it if you want to gauge the success. Like,
especially if it comes out better.
So
Yeah.
speaking,
You
so,
have to, yeah. Sorry,
so
go ahead.
speaking on skill and the necessity of skill, do you feel as though to be a rapper you must have some kind of freestyle game going on? Because I've always have back and forth.
I think
Because
she's plugging me.
because I know some rappers
She's
who are
plugging
dope
me,
with the
yeah.
pen but can't freestyle. They absolutely can. Like I know
And
a
vice
few.
versa.
No, I mean, I won't discredit, like, there's some great freestylers who can't write, you know what I mean? And, like,
Exactly.
I think that's just something that I don't say it's a requirement. It's not a requirement. Like,
Yeah.
you're good at what you're good at. I mean, you should be appreciated.
It's like
for that.
basketball players. Someone's got a 3-point shot. Someone can dunk. Someone can
Right.
defend.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I mean,
It
it's
doesn't
all
take away
playing
from-
basketball. It's under the same umbrella. So I think that, you know, some people are just better at other
It
things.
seems like we're hanging greatness on this scale of, like, this is an A, this is an A, this is an A. I mean, like, greatness can never, like, greatness is getting to greatness. You know what I mean? Like, continuing to want to push, because there's never going to be a point where you're just perfect.
Well, you also
Facts.
you also limit yourself
Yeah.
to ever hearing great music.
Yeah, I'm not a great freestyle. I'm a great writer. So like I suit that strong point, and then I may work on, you know what I mean, that. But it's like I'll never, you know, try to say like, oh, I'm this and I'm the best at this and I'm gonna just do that.
And also, what you're not good at sometimes makes you better at what you are. Like, I'm not the best actual musician. Like, I don't know any chord names. I don't know, but this guy, he knows all the chord. Like, so every time I'm always around him, I'm always like, I wish I could play like that.
Yeah.
But then he might see me because I can't play. I use a lot of weird effects and do a lot of really different things to almost kind of like hide it or like you know distort things that in a way that other people might not. So then they be like, "Yo, that's
Rio,
dope."
remember that conversation we had when I sent you the video of how Diplo and Skrillex made that?
Yeah.
Where are you now that I need you? Like they did so much distortion.
Yeah.
They said Justin Bieber sang like no. That was Justin Bieber singing. They distorted it so much to the point where it sounded like a dolphin noise, and like all of the processing that went through it. Now somebody who's a musician and say like I play these 8 chords or whatever, but he can't make that beat.
Sound.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's just like you have to appreciate the talented and the innovative minds of different people who are good at what they're good at. You know what I mean?
You know, it's very rare, first off, to change my opinion on something, but y'all have A, just done that.
Right.
And you have B, probably inspired another 5,000 more rappers who said, you know what, damn son, I felt like I couldn't be an artist because I couldn't do this or I couldn't do that. Well, now I'm gonna do it. Shout out to y'all, son, because y'all did it for us.
Yeah.
And you know, I'll say this too, like coming from, like I'm working on being a director. Like I've been directing music videos. I'm like trying to make my way up to feature films. And one thing that music has taught me is that as being a director, you're not doing everything. You actually can't do everything.
Yeah.
But you're the pirate of the ship, right?
Yeah.
You're directing, you're guiding where everybody's going. So I think that that's a skill in itself. That's what Quincy Jones did. He didn't play every trumpet on Michael Jackson's album.
He called in people that were better than
but
him.
He found and he put those people, that collective together to kind of make that end result happen. And I think that end result is the most important thing. And unfortunately, you know, at the end of a movie, you know, the director might get the award, but he goes up there and has that long list of people to thank, the actors, the lighting people, even the people who brought the food for everyone to eat that day. Like there's so many people involved to make something great.
Amazing.
And I think it should be okay to
and
do
I think
that.
my biggest thing to take away from this, like, piece of conversation we're having is that, like, whatever you're good at, and like collaborate, reach out to people. Like, don't ever settle for just being okay. Don't ever settle for just being good. Like, once you get to a step, like I made the prologue by myself, but now it's like I want to get better. I don't want to do the same thing. I don't want to make the same songs. Like, that was cool, that's great, it came in what it is, but now, like, hey Rio, like, how's my verse on this? Like, nah, you need to change that. Cool. You know what I mean? Like, yo, Rio, like, how are these chords? You know, they collaborate. We never let each other be just good. It's great. If this man's eyes aren't lighting up when I do a verse, I got to go back and write my verse over. You know what I mean? Like, we have to have that standard. So anybody listening, you know, just create a standard of greatness. And if we all do that, then we're going to have, like, a beautiful world. You know what I
If
mean?
we all do that, Slim Jesus couldn't exist.
Well, yeah, and I think that's a really good point, because I do feel like, you know, a lot of us don't aim to be different enough. You know, a lot of us aren't trying to come into this industry and try to create a niche of like being something that doesn't exist already. So there is a formula. There was this guy, you know, shout out to the Dean's List, because, you know, obviously the connection is here because of that. But, you know, there was a guy who auditioned, and he did a great job performing a song that I could hear on the radio, but that wasn't incredible. I told him, I said, bro, I could have made that. Because what you did was you got a trap beat, you got a catchy hook, and you just put some lyrics to it and said, now I want to go perform this on the Dean's List. So for that reason, I'm not going to endorse you. You don't have my support. And I was that forthright with him, because people ought to know that we know, people who know music know what it takes to just recreate something that's already done and that's very popular. Sham can make you, I'm not going to name the producer's name, but he can generate that sound if it you know, if need be. But what are we trying to do here? Are we trying to be something and create and provide an element that doesn't already exist?
And why are you making music? There's tons of people now that are doing it to be on, or to be famous, or to get followers, or to get likes.
Weed them out.
And we are the people that make things because we have to.
Right.
When we wake up, it's like that's
because
all.
we
It's
have to.
it's
That's
in
so
our brain.
important.
It's like there. It's like talking to us. It's like that's it. Like, there's nothing. We have to get this out. But there's other people like, man, how can I be more famous so I can fuck more bitches, so I can do this? So
How can I fuck bitches?
is that? But no, seriously, that's a lot of motivation, yo.
That's a lot of motivation.
I had a conversation with my friend like about poetry and why we do this work, and we were trying to decide like what is a poet though, because you can be someone who writes in a notebook and no one ever sees, or be a poet on Tumblr, or you can have all these accolades and what have you. But we boiled it down to a poet is someone who can't live without writing. Even if it goes nowhere, like you can't function without pen to paper.
Yeah,
that's an artist.
When I first started making music, I was 6 and I was writing like poetry, like it was nursery rhymes. But you know, like as I was coming up, I didn't rap. I was just writing poetry, and it just happened to rhyme or whatever. And like it started to become this thing where I got my name Truth from my mother. I used to write in my notebook, and when my mother would talk to me, like I was always that quiet. I was just quiet all the time because everything was up here. So my mother was like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "I'm fine," you know. And then I just go to my notebook and for pages and pages, just writing so many thoughts. And then my mother found it, and then she was like, "Ronald, come here." You know what I mean? And then I come in. She's like, "So I'm looking at your notebook," and she was like, "Why aren't you telling me these things you're feeling?" And it's just like, you know, I feel like I could just write it. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to say it. I write it. So it's like, I guess in the sense of poetry or wordsmith or lyrics, it's something that the only way you can fully express yourself is with this. And like that can be boiled down to production, it could be sound or whatever. Like when you can't,
it could be whatever.
when you can't express yourself without this, like that's when you know what I mean, you're an artist, you're a poet, you're a singer, you're a rapper. I can't feel you unless you're doing your art.
I really do wish that for everyone to have that release, you know, by
and
way of some avenue that allows them to kind of get their feelings out.
You know, that's like an interesting segue because, you know, I had cancer almost 10 years ago. Wow. And I was at a point in my production career where I was like, you know, really frustrated. Nothing was happening. I was making a bunch of beats, and I kind of was like, I was imitating all the producers that I really looked up to, and I didn't really have my own sort of thing all the way yet. And so when I had cancer, it was like, you know, it's like, am I gonna die? Like, what's up? And I remember the first day that I found out the news, I came home and I didn't know how to call my mom and tell her. I didn't know how to tell my girl. I didn't know how to say anything. So I just came home and made this track, and I put the headphones on and I just like let it out. And then I started to, like, even when my chemo journey, all that stuff, I was using music as almost like a diary, as like a journal entry because if I was gonna die, I needed to have something for people to find me or to come reach me. And so it was weird because maybe like 2 months after I found out all my radiation was done, I was in remission, everything, I got my first placement. And I think that I know actually that is because my music changed. It was no longer like, let me do this because it's fun and I like to do it. I was still doing it out of, you know, good intentions and everything because I loved it. But now I was saying something. I was speaking. I was using my voice is what I always try to say. Like, I tell everybody, use your voice. Everyone has a unique voice, and you need to use that voice. So I was finally kind of in tune with, all right, you know, I'm finally being myself. No one else could say that, how it felt to get that, except me. That was the only person that could speak that. So I just think that, you know, I encourage everybody, and especially if you do have a talent, because there's a lot of people that are going through life and they have struggles, they have problems, and they don't have anything, they don't have any way to express that. And we're here because we're here to make those things. Because I had somebody hear a song that I did and they cried, like they just heard the track, and I was like, yo, you okay? And they were like it's not saying anything, but it's saying everything to me. It's saying what I like, you know, it's touching a place. And when I saw that, I realized exactly how important it is that there's some people that don't have an outlet. It's just like literally like there's so they listen to music to escape, to go there. So you literally almost have a responsibility as a creative to not, you know, come from a place of like
inauthenticity.
Is that a word? That's a word?
Yeah, it is a word.
Okay.
It is a word.
It's
a noun, by the way.
I don't got a Montessori right now.
The segue from like what he's saying is like, I had this, and it'll be quick, but I was on a train, and then I just made a simple observation. I look around a lot, and then all of these people were connected. Like all their earphones were in. Nobody's talking. Everybody puts in their headphones. And for some reason, we have 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever your train commute is, like to like be lost. You know what I mean? For a second, not think about bills. Not think about your job right now. I have this time on this train right now to zone out, read a book, to draw. You know what I mean? Like some people, you know, like doing something on their phone, like creating something. It's just like I encourage anybody who does anything. You know what I mean? Like I spoke to a guy who works at a grocery store and he's been working there for 12 years. And I'm like, can't imagine why somebody would want to be at a grocery store, but he says, yo, I love helping people. I love feeding families. Like, I love helping somebody find new organic foods.
This is my talent.
Like, yeah, he found a love, you know what I mean? And I encourage anybody out there, if there's anything that you just, even if it's the tiniest thing, you can make a living off of it and be happy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm just gonna leave it right there.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm just gonna leave it right there.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We want to thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you so much. It was a
Thanks for
pleasure
having
and
us.
an honor.
The experience was amazing. I mean, you guys aren't here, but man, I hope we allowed you to be here for this however long this podcast is. But you know, shout out to social media, you know, do the rounds.
Shout out to Instagram too.
Yeah, shout out Instagram. Mine is Rio at this Rio THISREO. That's on Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff.
Yeah, and this is Mont. I'm at Meet Mont Black, and you can meet Mont Black this Wednesday, October 21st. Right here in Brooklyn. Check us out, and at the Soundkillers if you need more information.
All right, my name is Truth City. You guys can hit me at Mr. Truth City, MR Truth City. Make sure you come out to the Kimberly Project on Wednesday. I promise you it's going to be a beautiful experience. Wednesday, 8 p.m., Kimberly Project, Brooklyn.
And my name is Sham, and my Instagram is at Shamtrack Music. So SHAMTRAXMUSIC. Everything spelled correctly. And my Twitter is at Shamtracks. So check me out.
All right, folks, and that's the Encore Radio Show. Good morning.
Good morning.
The Encore Radio Show is an Indie Creative Network production, recorded at Redbird Studio and executively produced by Chris Scope Aesthetic.